Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar today. We are talking about ISO 45001 and workplace safety, looking at protecting your people and your business. So lots to talk about today. So welcome and thank you for joining us. There's quite a number of attendees with us today. Firstly, just before we get started, just to let you know your microphones are all on mute, videos are all off, but we'd love for you to interact with us. So if you've got a question, please do not hesitate to pop it either in the question and answer section, which comes directly to ourselves, or in the attendee chat, and we'll keep an eye on both of those as we go. As a question comes into your head, just put it in there. We won't take all the questions as we go. We'll keep most of them just to the question and answer section at the end, purely just from a time point of view, guys. It means then we can benefit from the question and the answer as well, and hopefully get through most of them. If for any reason we don't get that question answered, we will pick that up at the follow-up anyway and speak to you directly about that. So, but please do interact. Please do let us know anything that is in, and don't, no question's a silly question, because I can guarantee if you're thinking it, somebody else is probably also thinking it as well. Okay, just let you know as well, today's event is recorded, and you will have the opportunity when somebody gives you a buzz after the event in the follow-up to request that recording, so we can arrange that for you at that point. Okay, so my name's Flora Neville, and I'm going to be here just more in the background than anything else, just keeping an eye on the questions and etc. etc. So we've also got Michael and Evelina with us today, so I'm just going to pass you over to these guys to introduce themselves now.
Okie doke. Well, hello, thank you, Flora. So yeah, I'm Michael Brown. I'm Health and Safety Content Manager for Citation. So I deal with a lot of things like this, but also the documents and items that our customers all interact with. Prior to that, I worked for almost a decade in research and development, doing the health and safety for an international company focused around that. So I have a fair bit of experience of being audited as well as doing inspections. So yeah, it's 45001 is quite an interesting topic for me, but I'll hand over now.
And my name is Evelina Mazur Sharma. I work in citation since last 4 years, and now my current role is senior consultant. And what I do on day-to-day basis, I audit clients against 9001, 14 and 45. And as well, I do consultancies, which means I do help clients implement those standards. In addition, I have a small team of consultants, which I do manage on day-to-day basis. And similar like Michael's experience in the past, I was audited against those standards. And then after a few years, I went on the other side and now I audit clients.
So you've both seen both sides of it. So, and that's a massive advantage to having you guys on here with us, because you get it and you understand it. So that's the huge bonus to everybody. So thank you very much for joining us, guys. Much appreciated. Okay, what we're going to talk about today then is the importance of workplace safety and its impact on performance, an introduction to ISO 45001 and what the standard covers, and also how ISO 45001 can help your business stay compliant, reduce risk and improve safety culture, which we all know is absolutely fundamental and of most importance in the business. So we'll go through all of that and talk about that. Just very quickly though about us, because I know some of you who are with us today are not familiar with ourselves, so just to tell you who we are. Obviously ISO standards are a collection of best practices that have been agreed on by industry experts from around the world, helping to make sure the consistency and reliability of organisations that conform with them. ISO standards play a pivotal role in enhancing efficiency, quality and safety. And we have been around for quite some time, over 30 years, as you can see from there. We've got over 60 consultants nationwide, over 30,000 management systems implemented, and it's tailored management systems for your business. And that's the key thing, is this is about how it works for you, what you need to do to get in to get everything in the right place and get done and all the rest of it. So it is about that complete support. So everything that you need to achieve and maintain your ISO certification. So you will see that, it's all part of it, and we'll talk you through all aspects of that. We are also part of a bigger brand family, so the Citation group, and you may have come across some of the other members of this family previously, or may do it in the future as well. But really, all the aspects of this are the services that you need to help elevate your business. And to make it the best it can be. So you possibly will have come across this in a few times. Right, just before we get started then, before I hand over, just a quick question for you all. If you can just click either A, B or C, so A being very confident, B being somewhat confident, or C not confident at all. If you click on one of them, how confident are you that your business is taking a proactive approach to workplace safety and risk management? So if you click on either A, B or C, now there's no judgment, there's no no assessment, no tests or anything here. Just keen to get an idea of what you're thinking about it, how you feel about it, and so we can just angle it at that as well, because we want to get the most out of the next hour for all of you, obviously. So that's the key thing. Okay, I'll have a quick look at the results of that. Okay, 40% you're very confident, 55 somewhat, 4.5 not confident at all. So fantastic, and so that's good, and we'll make sure that what we're talking about today hopefully gives you that confidence, or just rubber stamps what you already have in place or what you think you should have, or whatever else. So that'll definitely help you with that. Okay, so I'm now going to hand over and talk about what is World Safety at Work Day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Flora. Well, it's actually today, which is very topical. So, yeah, the International Labour Organization has a Global Health and Safety at Work Day, which is today. And in effect, what they do is they try and focus businesses each year. And one of the largest bits of that is just making sure that businesses actually have these systems in place. So, it's good actually to see that most of you are confident that your businesses are working to protect you. The other bit of this is the fact that it aligns quite nicely with the HSE's, the Health and Safety Executive in the UK's goals. So one of the things that you'll probably notice with the Health and Safety Executive is that they're very keen on consultation with workers and making sure that actually it's a two-way street. And all of this sort of stuff helps to build the culture. So what do I mean by that? Basically, it's how we do things here. So is your workplace one of those areas where if someone spots something's wrong, they just ignore it, they don't take any proactive action to fix it? Or is it one of those areas where they go, look, I've spotted this is what I've done, but actually we need to take some action in future to make sure that doesn't happen again? So a lot of this and a lot of good safety culture is helped along by standards like ISO 45001 and including its predecessor 18001. The reason being, it all comes down to plan, do, check, act, and adjust. So I'm pretty certain you'll hear quite a bit about this in future. But yeah, the HSE is also looking at safety as they always do. But just to add to that, they are also very active at the moment looking at health. That's because I think it's every year about 12,000 people a year die of lung diseases, which are previously linked to past exposures at work. So again, thinking about prevention rather than cure, thinking about making sure that actually people are proactively looking for hazards and then feeding them back, and the employer is proactively doing something to help manage them. So a lot of this is linked in, and it's all about strengthening systems and behaviours so that safety basically just happens by default. So why does workplace safety matter? Now, you'll hear this around every sort of board table businesses. They always go, oh, health and safety is our number one priority. And I was asked to them, I always tended to ask, well, what does that mean to you? What's your biggest concern? For most of the most businesses, actually, obviously, they want to protect their workforce. And the more protected your workforce are, the less likely you are to have absence through injury or ill health. I mentioned earlier about the lung statistics. I think the latest set of stats for occupational stress is even higher. I think that's actually about, obviously, I think in the 700,000s sort of at the moment. So it's really, really high. And again, the HSE is looking at making sure that businesses are looking at this proactively. So it's not just the physical hazards that we need to protect people against, it's also stressors, and it's also chemical hazards, all sorts of different things. So it's very all-encompassing. It boosts your business performance as well. If you've got less accidents, you're paying less out on claims, and also your other workers aren't having to take up the slack for people being out of the workforce. Builds reputation and trust. Again, no one wants an enforcement, and you can look those up online. You can look up improvement notices, and you can look up who's been prosecuted in the past. And if you're tendering for work, quite often that will be a question that's asked you. Are you actively engaged with the HC at the moment? If you are, give details. And it's much easier to not have those sorts of conversations. And the other part is, and the final part really, is that it meets your legal duties. So in effect, what you actually need to do, so the policies you need to have in place and the behaviours that you need to foster within your workforce, including things like the perception and risk assessment and just dealing with hazards as they come up. But ultimately, a safer workplace and a healthier workplace will leave you way more productive, and it will hopefully give you a bit of an edge over your competitors. It certainly helps with recruitment if you're known to look after and be proactive with your workers' safety. So the link, as I mentioned, between safety culture and also health and safety performance, it doesn't just protect you, it strengthens the whole organisation. Good safety culture is definitely part of ESG, so that's the environmental, sustainability and social goals, and that sort of sustainable practice and management. So quite often now you'll see businesses that are actually talking about what they do to manage safety in their workplace, how many incidents they've had in the last few years, how many near misses they've investigated. So it's something that didn't quite happen as an accident but could have done is generally referred to as near miss. So the key connections with this, businesses with good health and safety performance and good health and safety culture, so that's those proactive businesses, generally have fewer accidents, they have higher engagement with their workforce, the efficiency goes up, and also, as I mentioned before, it's that reputation piece, and it really, really does help. So I'm going to hand over now to Evelina, and we'll talk a little bit about ISO 45001, but I have a feeling that all of this is going to link in very nicely to the Plan, Do, Check, Act and Adjust. So I will pass you over now.
Thank you very much. So yes, whatever Michael did say, it's actually supporting ISO journey. So if you are familiar with some of the things which have been said, or if you have identified any gaps that you might have to work on, definitely ISO, it would be a great tool that would help you achieve this compliance. So what is actually ISO 45001? It's an occupational health and safety standard, which is recognized globally. So that builds your reputation as a business. If you talk about ISO, it's recognized basically all over the world, and it helps organizations to take a structured, proactive approach to protecting their people. And today we are focusing purely with health and safety. So I hope you will find this session helpful. So how actually ISO supports the business? It supports the business in variety of aspects. First of all, establish processes to keep staff safe and healthy. So we need to have a clear processes. And once we have a clear processes, which defines the best practices in the workplace, it creates confidence. And when the staff know what they have to do, the safety will become their second nature. So it's not going to be something that we continually have to enforce. Basically, everyone will fall into this culture, and they will basically follow all the principles which they are familiar with, and that will keep them safe during working hours as well. In addition, identify and manage workplace risks. So by identifying risks early, it helps businesses to prevent problems before they even happen. And if we basically prevent some inverse accidents and incidents, basically we are saving time, we are saving money, we are saving health, and we potentially are saving people's lives. Stay legally compliant with health and safety laws. This one is very important, as we know that compliance, it's not just about ticking boxes, it's about protecting people and the business itself from quite serious consequences. So Michael is actually expert in the field, and he was giving you some statistics. So as you know, you want to prevent things from happening. You don't want to continually keep resolving accidents and incidents, dealing with near misses. but you want to have this proactive approach which will help you prevent accidents happening in your organizations. It builds a culture of continuous improvement and accountability. ISO, any ISO, not just 45001, it's all about continuous improvement. It's about empowering organizations to review what they do, how they do, and continually keep improving their approach to, in this case, safety. And ISO 45001 can be a really powerful tool because true safety framework isn't just about ticking boxes of the ISO standard. So when you have an audit, the audits are not there to make me happy, but it should be a tool for you which will boost the business, which basically you will set some kind of benchmark for everyone in terms of health and safety. And the standard is actually there to guide the way, but as well, just please bear in mind that ISO, it's not just about pile of documentation, folders of logs and registers. It's about your approach. It's about making real improvements in your businesses, in safety, and building strong safety culture across the workplace. So what does the ISO 45001 covers? It covers a lot of different sections, but on this slide, we have actually 3 key elements. So we will focus today on operations, on evaluation, and on continual improvement. So in terms of operations, you will need to set out the ways in which you plan to manage the safety of the people you are responsible for. So what does it mean? Basically, it means that all this journey starts with identifying the risks. You have to determine which health and safety regulations are applicable to your business. Do you have awareness of those regulations? Do you have the access to the latest versions of those regulations? And can you actually say that you are compliant with those? The next step, once we have identified the risks, once we have identified regulations that you should be compliant with, the next step is to eliminate or at least reduce occupational health and safety risks whenever it's possible. You also need to assess the types of emergencies that could arise, something that you might be dealing with. So depending on what do you provide, what type of service, what type of product, different types of emergencies will be applicable to you. So it could be starting from chemical spills. Sometimes the risk might be a fire itself. Sometimes health and safety risk might be a result of the weather conditions, which might impact employees' safety. So by addressing those potential threats, that's how we can create safer and more resilient workplace. So once our operations is set up, we know what the risks are, we know the regulations, we have put the methods in place, how do we control those risks? We need to evaluate how robust our system is. So the best way to check if something is successful is basically to monitor, measure, and evaluate this performance. And this could be done by a variety of tools, which could be through internal audits, which could be through management reviews, as well as incidents and accident investigations, or reviewing compliance with regulations. So ISO 45001 and this section, performance evaluation, it's about measuring and assessing how the health and safety system is working within your organization. So it does involve, obviously, looking from different perspectives. It does require evaluate your performance in general to make sure that objectives which you have set for yourself are being met. And the tools which can help you to do it, like I did say, it could be internal audits, it could be management reviews, and they are the tools which help you identify areas for improvement to ensure this continuous progress towards a safety workplace. And the last bit is continual improvement. This is all about finding ways to do things better by taking corrective actions, putting preventative measures in place, and continually improving of what you do. So performance evaluation, it does involves reviewing the effectiveness of your corrective actions. And this is the key. If you think you had an accident or incident or near misses, and if you put corrective action, you need to be able to review, was this corrective action effective enough. If you are dealing with similar types of accidents and incidents all over again, it should bring you back. You should take a moment, identify the gaps, and implement more robust solution to drive real improvements. The important bit is as well that ISO standards, you need to have your bespoke approach, and this is what we offer. So we review what organizations does have, and it's basically bespoke approach, what your organization needs. So let's look into the benefits of the ISO 45001. There is a lot of benefits. Obviously, it does reduce workplace accidents. So this standard helps you to identify and minimize hazards so that you can create safe environment for everyone. Definitely, it boosts productivity purely based on the fact that it does increase employee awareness of health and safety risks, and it does empower your workforce by promoting this culture of safety. Win more business, I think this is something what Michael did mention about tendering. So if your organization participate in tender processes, obviously it does require a submission of different documents. And if you do have ISO, it gives you this competitive edge against your competitors, that you will have a greater chance actually to win a specific contract or work which you are bidding for. Legal compliance, it happens by default because it is the requirement of the standard to establish all the regulations which are applicable to you. You need to have awareness. What do they say? How they apply to your business? So again, it's not about making a list of billion regulations, which some might not be relevant to you, but it's actually this gap analysis. What is the piece of regulation that we should be aware of? Are we compliant? And this is what the ISO helps businesses. It shows you basically how to follow best health and safety practices, so you will avoid any kind of breaches, which obviously this could lead to fines, this could lead to loss of reputation and some other obviously effects. Enhancing reputation, definitely you show the world that you are committed to health and safety in your business. And this certificate is recognized globally, like I was saying before. So definitely it's something that should boost your business. It should create a better and safe working environment. And at the end, it will save the money. So if we have any business leaders today, we know that they are focusing on money, probably in the great length. So definitely it will help you save the money. And you know, if you think in a broad way, if you will win more work, you will have safe working environment, and you will basically keep winning your work. You will have better relationship with your staff because they will be happy, they will feel safe at the work. That will definitely boost retention of your employees. This will boost your relationship with your customers as well. So probably one of the things is, for those who might not have 45001, is how to achieve ISO certification. It's not really a complex process. It's all about our engagement. It's all about how determined you are to make your workplace safer and better for everyone. So ISO 45001 provides you with solutions to create this better and safer working environment, to prevent from having illnesses, to prevent from injuries, to prevent from having employees absenteeism. And the good news is that it is easier to achieve than you might think, especially for those who already have in place maybe 9001 or 45001. All those standards, they have been designed in alignment. So there is a lot of similar clauses. Therefore, if you have any of those standards, probably you are halfway through. 45001, it does focus on health and safety. So there are some additional areas that we would have to look into, but it's not as complicated as you think.
It's quite a good one. I'll just cut in there just quickly, if you don't mind. Where I worked before, we were one of the first businesses to achieve ISO 45001. Now, we did already have the predecessor standard, but we also had 9001 and 14. and it was so much simpler. It literally just we just copied the requirements across. I think it was something called Annex SL, and it required lots of, basically it meant that the standard was implemented in exactly the same way. But yeah, if you're, as someone that used to do the health and safety inspections for Citation, before I was promoted into this role, near enough all of the stuff we'll ask you in our site visit questionnaire is going to help you along your way to getting the ISO standard. So I think it says here, you've got 70% of the requirements already there. It's because we're going through and looking at, are you consulting with your workforce? Are you training them up? Have you got records of all of this? Do you know what legislation you should have in place and what you should be on top of? And just to highlight as well, I'm not trying to spook anyone here. We mentioned about costs. The costs of getting things wrong at the moment are pretty astronomical. And the HC has just had an inflationary increase in their fee for intervention. So that's if they do an inspection and they decide that you have a material breach of a piece of legislation, that's gone up to £183 per hour. So it's quite a lot of money that they can charge just for looking into things. So again, it's always better just to have a good management system in place where you can robustly demonstrate what you're doing to keep your workforce safe. But I'll just hand back. I just thought, yeah, I just wanted to advocate because it genuinely, if you've got stuff in place already, it is easier. It's much easier than you might think.
Absolutely. And this is actually feedback from many clients. They always think, oh, we thought it's really difficult, but it's not. The standards are aligned, and generally, if you have something in place like 9001 or 14001, definitely you do have foundation to set your additional standard, which would be 45001, which could genuinely make a great impact on your organization. Because when you think about it, health and safety, it always should be paramount. If you don't have safe working environment, how we can talk even about quality? So it's something that it generally should be looked into. And to demonstrate this compliance, achieving ISO certification would be a great achievement. And if you are already Citation health and safety client, obviously that you've got really, you are ahead of the game because they do really thorough inspections on the place. You've got access then to Atlas with all sorts of risk assessments and additional documents that might be helpful. So definitely it's like 70% or sometimes even more. If clients already addressed what they have available as a health and safety client, they are even, I would say, even more than 70% ahead of the game. So it's basically just reviewing those gaps. And from my experience, from setting up consultancies for the clients, I did have clients which they didn't have gaps. So it was such a straightforward process. It was basically evaluating that, yes, you do have everything in place and you are basically ready to achieve the certificate. You didn't have gaps. So it does happen. All depends how your health and safety looks like, but we are here to help you to achieve the certification, and we will look into some more details shortly. So how Citation can help? I think, Michael, this is your.
It is. So yeah, as I mentioned just now, I used to be one of the consultants that would come out and do site inspections. So the way that Citation would do this is we take quite a practical approach. So we would turn up basically at your workplace and wander around it with you, and we'll do a bit of hazard spotting. We'll make sure that you're up to date, that you've got the right policies and procedures in place. We'll have a look at what your risk assessments say and whether we think that you're addressing all of the foreseeable risks in your business. And we can also help with our software and our platform called Atlas, where we've got e-learning on there. We've also got toolbox talks, you name it. You know, we've got quite a comprehensive suite of sort of documentation and stuff to help you. But the main part of this is going to be the people that you talk to and interact with. So we can give you a report, but that's also backed up by our advice line. And you know, if you're unsure with anything, or if you want some advice on literally anything, as long as it's health and safety related, we can give it to you, and we'll give you a decent quality response back. So at the moment on our advice team, actually, we're noticing a lot of people asking about COSH. So that's your hazardous substance management, things like that. And that's probably due to the fact that the Health and Safety Executive have just issued new guidance for silica. Now, if you're a Citation customer, you should have been made aware of that by us. And I know you should have done, because I wrote the alert that went out. So again, we're trying to proactively make sure that people are looking and that they're on top of what they need to do. So you get quite a comprehensive service from us. And as we said, part of that will then help lay the foundations for you to get an ISO certification if you choose to. But yeah, in effect, we add the sort of human face to it. We'll turn up and actually look through, have a look round, talk to your work colleagues, and just give you a good, almost an MOT really of where you actually are at the moment in relation to your health and safety management. So yeah, over to you, I think, Flora.
Thank you, Michael. And I would like to just, what Michael was just talking about there and about doing inspection and all that. I'm also a small business owner as well as working with citation, and I have to say, and you know, people say this and they're like, really, I love having my health and safety inspection done because it's so useful, and you get that person there to ask things to, and I can't tell you how beneficial that is in your business. Because with the best will in the world, when you run a business, you're not a health and safety expert, you're not an HR expert, you're not, you know, you need somebody with those eyes and that up-to-date knowledge to, to take you round your business. And it's so useful because, again, it's like everything. You're working in your business. You're not always working on it, and you'll know exactly what I mean by that. That you don't always see everything. So the benefit of that is, and sad but true. Yep, I love having my health and safety audit and walk round. I know that is, I think, because you have the confidence that you know you've got most of, everything's there. There might be little bits or something's changed or whatever else, but it's not going to be a big job and a big task. And then you get this amazing report afterwards to show you what you need to focus on, what you need to do, what's got to be picked up. So, I can really recommend that. And I know sadly I don't like it, but that's just the way it is. It's because you're not worried about it is the key, and it's the confidence, which is brilliant. Okay, so. Sorry.
Flora, if I could just add a little thing. When you was talking about those inspections, obviously I'm not working in health and safety department, but because I'm doing those consultancies, some of the clients, they did share with me health and safety inspections, site inspections report, and they are really so good. They are so easy to understand. It's not just like, 60 pages, microscopic font. It's so transparent that basically everything is outlined for you. All the critical issues are highlighted. So when you look into this report, it's self-explanatory. You basically know, so what do I do next? You've got experts which will help you, and you've got really good documented report from this site inspection.
No, I agree, and I share that directly with my team. So, and it's very easy for your team to understand as well. And I think that's the important thing, is you're not trying to then, decipher something to then share or turn into training or any of that kind of thing. So yeah, that's where it's fantastic. Absolutely. Okay, so why citation ISO certification then, guys? Well, the consultancy, as we have just been talking about, is built in. You get access to experts. So you've got that support and backup all of the time. And that's the key thing, is, it's only ever a phone call or a conversation away. We create that management system that works for your business. So the time and money it saves is incredible. And it is, like we're just saying, it's simple. It's not complicated. It's not hard to understand or any of the rest of it. It is very straightforward. And we can help you gain certification pretty quickly. In as little as 45 days, it says there. So, but it's not a very long, lengthy, complex, drawn out thing, which is, I think, the key thing for all business owners, isn't it? You don't want to be adding more things on the headache or to-do list, because there's plenty of them. So it takes a lot of them away, is the key thing. Part of something bigger, you've got exclusive access to our HR and employment law expert advice line. So again, it's only a phone call away for whatever that might be. It can be very simple, or it could be a scenario in the workplace, or what do I do here, or I need to suspend somebody, or whatever that is. You've got that expertise and backup to know that you're doing it properly. We connect you with other experts, so your SSIP, your SMAS WorkSafe, and we can connect you with citation health and safety solutions that will give you peace of mind. So the key backup is all there for you, depending on what your individual needs are for the business as well, because everybody's different, and that's what we're very mindful of. It's the expertise that you need in your business that will tie that up with. The technology, Michael mentioned that as well, is Atlas. You've got that bespoke management hub that's written for you and made for you as an employer. Again, fantastic system. There's so much in there, and everything that's in there is what you can easily achieve and maintain for to achieve and maintain your ISO compliance. So it's all there, it's all accessible, and we're always going on about keeping audit trails and all that kind of thing. That is exactly what you've got there, and you can access it from wherever you may be, your mobile phone, your laptop, whatever, wherever. And that's the key thing. You've got the backup as well. It's not just on one system and one laptop in the office that then goes kaput and you've had it. So it's having that, accessible backup as well. And you've got a library of templates, and all the things that you need from reporting and all the other tasks. It keeps you on track for everything as well, again, which I think as a business owner is absolutely key, because it's easy for these things to go to the bottom of the pile. So this keeps you on track. I always talk about it being like having an extra person without the cost, which is fantastic when you're a business owner. Okay, so the benefits of ISO Mentor. Evelina, am I handing that one to you?
Absolutely. So ISO Mentor, it's basically a platform which you could have access to with the training relevant to ISO. So it does include different standards. It does include training about how to do internal audits, how to do management reviews, and many, many more. They are virtual sessions which you could have, which you would have access anywhere and on any device for flexible training that fits around business as usual. So you can watch those sessions when you have a little bit of time, and as well you can assign different users. So it's not just for one person, you can have as many users as you wish. So those sessions you would have access to on demand, and they do cover comprehensive high quality training. So they have been written by experts. They have been reviewed, they have been approved, and like I was saying, there is a lot of good stuff. The main thing is that those sessions are quite short, so it's not like you will sit down and you need to continually watch 5 hours of ISO sessions. They are actually broken down into almost bite-sized sessions. You might watch today a session relevant to context of the organization, or maybe how to identify risks, or maybe session about how to set health and safety objectives. So they are very short sessions. They are easy to watch, and they have been done in vocabulary which could be understood by everyone. So it's not like we are using some kind of fancy ISO terminology, which some of you might not be familiar with, but actually the standard itself, it's explained step by step. And like I was saying, you can have unlimited employee access. Of employees, they can sign up anytime, and as well you can add more users if you wish.
Brilliant, thanks, Evelina. Fantastic. Okay, so quick question again, just about how you feel. Now we've talked through, you've heard from both Michael and Evelina talking quite in depth about the benefits and how it can all benefit in the business and how it can work in the business. So just another quick question for you, and if you can click again on A, B or C about how confident you feel that your business is taking a proactive approach to workplace safety and risk management. Now, and again, be honest, guys, it's good for us just to get a feel for it, and we appreciate there'll be a few of you on here that still aren't sure what you're doing or where you're going with it, and we're absolutely happy to pick up with you about that. Never maybe thought about ISOs, or you might have some in place at the moment, right across the board. So please do tell us, and we're more than happy to have a bit more discussion with anybody. We can do that quite easily. So great. Okay, there you go. Brilliant. So you've got lots of things taken from today, as I can imagine. But again, those who are not very confident, please do, pick up with us. We're more than happy to pick up with you. I know we've got some questions here, which we will go through. As we're talking through them, I'm just going to flick onto this as well, that if you want some more information, let us know, and we will, and I know a few people have asked for that, so this gives you the opportunity just to click in it. You can click in them all if you want, it's entirely up to you, if you do want information on all of the ISOs, or if there's something out with what we've talked about today, please let us know as well. Please put it in the chat box or in the question and answer there, and we can pick that up with you too, because we're more than happy to have a chat with you. There's no obligation, just about the business, how we can help, how we can work with you to achieve what you want to achieve at the end of the day. That's the absolute key thing. And to also talk a bit more in depth about what you're thinking from an ISO point of view as well. So, okay, let's go to some questions then. So one of the first ones I think that came in was from David. Is citation 45001 certification UCAS accredited?
Sorry?
Or Evelina, whoever wants to pick that up.
What was the question? Sorry?
Is citation 45001 is citation 45001 accreditation certification UCAS accredited?
So we are ASCB accredited, which is globally recognized accreditation body. Again, if you would like to have more information on that, it is on our website. But if you would like to give us a call, then we can explain this a little bit more in depth. Again, the standards are the same. The difference is between UCAS and us that we help clients achieve the certification. So like I was saying, we are doing consultancies, which are very, very simple, very straightforward. We have initial meeting with the clients, we assess the gaps, we explain standard in depth, and if there are any gaps, then we help and we guide the clients how they can address those gaps so that they can achieve certification.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, so another question there. Do you have to do ISOs in order? So 9001, then 14,000, then 45?
Absolutely not. You can go in any order as you wish. If you don't have any ISO, you can even go for the integrated option and have 2 standards at the same time implemented, or 3 standards. You can mix and match them however you wish. So there is no requirement that you need to have specifically ISO 9001 quality standard first, and only then you can think about additional standard. You can have any standard that you want first, together or in any order.
Brilliant, thank you. Somebody on there as well just saying they are currently a client and looking for a bit more information. So if you want to find out anything more about your Atlas or get some training maybe, because I think you're maybe new to the organisation, then by all means pick up the phone to your account manager and we can get that arranged. Absolutely no problem at all. So don't hesitate to do that, because you need to use the system to its full capacity, because there's so much there, which is fantastic. You don't want to be missing bits of it. So absolutely, if you want a wee bit of refresher or new training, then please do pop that in. We hook up with your managers, as I say, and we can get that arranged. Somebody's asking here, do you issue a copy of the standards prior to applying?
So we issue the ISO certificates when clients achieve certification. So when they pass their pre-certification audit, they receive certificates within then 72 hours.
So I think maybe asking there, so, what are the standards? What is the criteria maybe before they, at what point are they issued? Or are they available?
So this could be discussed with us on the call. As well, when we do consultancy, we give all guidance, what criteria needs to be met to achieve certification. So this is this gap analysis meeting, which we do have with the clients, which helps them understand the standard itself. It helps them understand gaps which they might have within their current systems which they have. But again, if somebody would like to have more information, best is to give us a call and have a chat.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay. Couple of questions here coming in about when a lot of the organisation is remote working, and maybe go to client sites occasionally and things, but how does it work there?
So probably Michael.
Sorry, Flora, you broke up for me then. What were you saying?
I'm just, I got a small glitch and I wasn't sure whether that'd gone through. Just a couple of people asking about when they have a lot of remote workers, or a lot of the employees are remote working and maybe go to client sites just a few times, but most of their business is remote worker based.
Yeah, you still got a duty to manage health and safety for them. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to also get 45,001. They'll be looking at the standard, and also the agency would be looking at what, for example, I'll pick an example. If it's domiciliary care, for example, where you're going from someone's house, I would be looking as a consultant at what is your management of road risk like? How do you verify that your drivers are competent, insured correctly, that their vehicles are in good enough nick, that they're fit and healthy to do the job. So I'd be looking at various different bits. How do you communicate with your workers if they're remote? Do you have a process like a joint WhatsApp where you can talk about health and safety items? So it's still implementable. So I don't honestly see why you wouldn't be able to get a 45,001 accreditation for that. It's just about having the correct health and safety standards in place for your business model. And if I were doing an inspection, obviously I wouldn't be going through the entire ISO question set, but I would certainly be asking you about how you communicate your risk assessments to your workers, how you train them, how you ensure their ongoing health and well-being, if they've got any medical concerns, things like that, how you manage their stress and their workload and their fatigue. So there's quite a bit that I could go down a rabbit hole on, but there's a starter for 10. But yeah, you absolutely could, I think, get 45,001. It's just you've got to demonstrate you've got these systems in place.
Absolutely. We have clients which are basically one-man bands. We have clients who are absolutely large organizations, international organizations, and obviously we tailor our approach when we do consultancy. So it's not one thing fits all. That's why we have those conversations. That's why we review how organizations operate. That's how we implement those systems. The ISOs fits any organizations, any sizes. Now remote working, it's something that probably happens more often than it did before pandemic. So we had to tailor our approach in this direction as well. So we have organization who works remotely, and they are 45,001 certified as well, because it's everything. It's, are we safe working from home? How is this assessed? Do we have the right equipment as well to do the work? So it's a lot of factors that genuinely we have to look into when we work remotely as well.
Brilliant. Great. Okay, thanks, guys. I think we've covered a lot of the questions. Michael, is there anything individually come to you, or anything else that you want to highlight?
Trying to answer a few as they come in, and there's quite a few relating to the silica item that I mentioned earlier on. So it went out as part of the newsletter. And what I have said is there are some silica resources on Atlas. So there is a silica workplace guide, which is basically targeted at you as an employer to know roughly what you need to be doing. But again, with all of these things, if you're looking at something, you're thinking, that gives me enough knowledge to sort of work with, but I want some more, please contact the advice line. We would much rather you used our expertise and our knowledge than we're sort of feeling a bit loose. There's also a toolbox talk on there. So all of these documents I'm referring to are in useful documents and templates. You'd access that by logging into Atlas, clicking on the top left, then you go to My Area. I think then it has My Documents, and then there's a tab for useful documents and templates, and you can search the whole repository. We're just about to upload a load of updated Toolbox talks actually as well, so it's worth checking back in there every now and then. The article that came out, I am going to see if I can get marketing just to resend it to those who have highlighted it on here, because It did come out in February, I think it was our newsletter. But in effect, what we do is we talk through what the risks are and what the changes are. To summarise it here, the long and short of it is, if you are working with stone, silica, so that could be brick dust, that could be plaster, that could be respirable, sort of very fine sands, and more where they're targeting at the moment is that they're looking at the manufacturers of those stone worktops. So where they're looking at the installers, they want everything pre-done in the factory under strict control. Even things like tap holes, they want those pre-drilled wherever possible. And any work that you have to do on the customer site, they want on-tool extraction. They're really, and that's a recent change to the HSE actually, where I would almost call it helpful, where they're actually telling you now what they expect to see as a standard and what they see as being reasonably practical for you to implement. So I've just summarized the article, but those of you that are Citation customers who haven't received it, I can get marketing to re-forward that for you, so that you've got it up to date. But like I say, there's a workplace guide in useful document templates on Atlas. There's a toolbox talk on it as well. And I think there's also some e-learning about silica awareness. So, we are fairly supportive when it comes to that. But yeah, that was the main one I kept seeing come up again and again and again. I'm just about to respond as well to the individual who sent me a note about display screen equipment checklist. There's another one in Atlas, and it's in useful documents and templates. So I'll give you some instructions on how to find that as well. I haven't seen any others that have come out just yet. I'll have a quick scan while I'm here.
Yeah, no, I think we've picked up most of them. Maybe not individually, but I think we've picked up the topics, hopefully.
Yeah, everyone's going, please, can you send me the Koch stuff? It's interesting. I think we'll have a look and we'll work out where that's gone. You have to be opted. If you've opted out of all of our marketing comms, I don't know whether you would still get it, but I would just say make sure you're opted into safety alerts. So yeah.
100%. Yeah, no, I would agree. And yeah, I can see that there's a few. And also, just check again. There's a few questions in there about access, and everybody's access will be maybe slightly differently. It depends how it's set up. So just check who your admin is on your systems, and just make sure that you've all got the access that you should have. The whole point of it is you can give different levels of access through the system, but just check that you've got what you need, because it's all there, and you should be able to access, but just to check, because the whole point of it is it can be built around individual businesses. So just double check. That's what I would say, guys. Okay. Evelina, anything else come to yourself, or anything else you want to highlight before we finish up?
I think the only thing which I wanted to add, it's relevant to the slide which Flora, you was explaining why citation. I think from my end, what I can say, why any of our clients chose citation, it's because we want our clients to succeed. This is our target. We want everyone to make the most of the services which we provide. It could be ISO, it could be health and safety, HR, and everything else. We want our clients to feel supported, and this support is at any point of any of your journeys. So if we look into ISO from beginning to achieving certification, this support doesn't end there. You can always get in touch with us. You can always ask any questions throughout the year. We have designated departments which helps to answer those questions. So just please bear in mind, you are never alone. And what we want clients to make the most of those services, and we want them to be successful.
Yeah, I think the other thing is as well, just to say, we're all in the health and safety division, we are all certified IOSH or above. So if I don't know something, I've got 150 other souls I can ask. So I think we're one of the largest providers of what we do in the UK, but we're forever training our teams up and everything to keep them on top. And like I said, when there are changes and things, I will get that sent back out to you. We do inform customers in the relevant sectors. So yeah, there's a lot of churn at the moment with the HSE and what they're looking into. yeah, we don't want people to get caught, and we certainly do want you to succeed. It's a pleasure turning up to a site, and I do miss doing the inspections sometimes. It was always really nice to turn up to a site and go, oh, you've done what I suggested. That's great. But yeah, it's we just want people to do their best, to be fair. And I think we've got a lot of resources on the platform. Make use of them.
Yeah, 100%. That I'm always amazed at the level of expertise that we have in-house, because there has never been a question, and I get lots of questions on lots of forums and platforms on here, and there is never a question that we've not got the right an in-depth answer to, because we've got an expert, which always like, oh, this one's an interesting one. But every time we have an expert on board, so make use of that, guys. That's the key thing, then make sure that you're getting the best from it, as Michael says. So please do get in touch with us. I can see a number of you there that have requested further information, so we'll pick all that up with you, no problem at all. But please do, even after today, if you think, oh, actually, I would quite like to know about that, or have a clearer understanding of how this would work, or whatever, then do not hesitate to get in touch with us. If you want to book in a one-to-one, a chat, then feel free to highlight that either in the attendee chat or the Q&A just now, and we'll get in contact and make sure that we get that in the diary for you, just to explain a bit more detail what we can do to help build you that bespoke plan and future-proof your business. And because the key thing is, right now, everybody needs to be ready for anything, as we're saying, because we just, I think we're in interesting waters at the moment, and I don't think it's going to get much easier. So please do get in touch with us and engage with us, is what I would say, to let us help you to get your way through it. Again, a few people asked about costs and things like that there. We can speak to you individually, no problem at all, and look at what your needs are and what's going to work best for you. Okay, thank you for everybody attending. Much appreciated taking time out your day. I hope it's been a worthwhile session. I can tell by the amount of people we have on and the amount of questions that it clearly has been, which is fantastic. Thank you very much to Michael and to Evelina for taking time out of your day and joining us today. Much appreciated, and brilliant information and execution and delivery of it as ever. So superb. Thank you so much, and thank you. I can see all the thank yous coming in there as well, so glad that it's went down well, guys, and been useful to you is the key thing. But do keep in touch with us. I'll leave the Q&A and the attendee chat open. If anybody wants to get that meeting booked in, just let us know. You can just pop it in there, and we will work round about the diaries and make sure that somebody speaks to you at a time and a date that works for you. So please don't hesitate just to pop that in. But enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for joining us. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.